I can't hear you right now.
More doors, I think, now.
Chip Reed going door to door there in Modesto, California for NBC News.
Going out to Ron Goldman's house back
Well, if you want to read a really great book this summer, how about the Bible? Or pick up a copy of Ghost Soldiers by Hampton Sides. It's a story of one of the most daring rescue missions of World War II when 121 U.S. troops in the Philippines managed to slip behind enemy lines and rescue 513 American and British POWs right into the noses of 8,000 Japanese troops. The POWs were living under horrible conditions, and their lives were saved at the 11th hour because the Japanese were executing American prisoners as they retreated from the advancing U.S. Army. It took a lot of intelligence, skill, and bravery to rescue these guys. The author, Hampton Sides, is a great storyteller, and his book, well, reads like an exciting adventure novel with one exception. It's all true. So, get a copy of Ghost Soldiers at your local bookstore today. Once you start reading it, you won't be able to put it down.
This is a healthcare update from Hackensack University Medical Center.
Now, I'm Lori McNichol for the Mohegan Sun Fan Highway Patrol.
14 till the hour here in the IMUS Morning Program. So Graham, who really runs the greenhouse here, Chuck, but is filling in the kitchen. He's a former chef and doing a great job, by the way. He comes out to the ranch every day from Santa Fe, and he brings me a copy of the New York Times.
Mm-hmm.
So the place where he costs a book, $1 for the New York Times.
Okay.
So the place he goes to get it, he got there, and a guy was there right ahead of him, and bought the last New York Times, yesterday's New York Times.
Yeah.
And Graham said, "I'll give you $2 for it." The guy said, "No." This is really an example of the scum in Santa Fe.
Yeah.
This is why I seldom, if ever, go there. He refused. Oh, ultimately, the guy refused $10.
Hitting me.
For his copy of the New York Times.
Paper?
Yeah.
Jeez.
Now, he could have gone over to Wild Oats, the supermarket, organic supermarket, where we buy almost everything, that and Shamrock Foods and stuff. And, they have a bunch of them over there. So I don't know why Graham didn't think of that, or why the guy didn't. Why the guy didn't take the $10 for the paper. There's a number of places in Santa Fe where you can buy the New York Times. Inexplicable. Yuppie, pigeon gut sucking, whale licking creep.
Scuzzball.
Scuzz face. Let's explain that. All right, here now with comment and observation on headline issues of the day. I'm Mr. Washington's senior political analyst, the late Richard M. Nixon.
Milhouse in the house. Imus in the morning. And the Wuss of the Week award goes to, well, actually, we're looking at a twofer, a double decoration, to the New York Yankees, Roger Clemens, and to the New York Mets, Mike Piazza. To Clemens for throwing the ball so far outside to Piazza in the All-Star game the other night that I thought I could have been watching Rick and Keel. And to Piazza for not walking out to the mound with the bat and going yard with Clemens' fat head. Nothing I do. No retaliation. No sticking it in your face. Nothing. If you were waiting for the old bunt and box cutters down the first baseline, with apologies to Warner, you lost. What a couple of pansies. Oh, and by the way, memo to Cal Ripken. I could hit it out of the park if I get a pitch that's the equivalent of T-ball. And not only am I out of shape, I'm dead. MVP, most vapid putts. Speaking of vapid puttses, Dono, anybody else suddenly vaporized around old Gary Condit today? I think about some of the people he could have been porking, and I absolutely weep. I mean, he could have been wailing on like Barbara Streisand, or Paula Poundstone, or Donna Hanover, or this Lizzie Grubman babe. Jeez, have you seen her? Talk about somebody you'd like to disappear. Grubman is the public relations power chick who mowed down 16 people in her SUV in the Hamptons the other night. For God's sake, I meant. There was a picture of her on the cover of the New York Post the other day, and it's obvious she's had that surgery, where they inject fat in your lips to try to make them look sexy and pouty, Note to passengers, Miss Grubman's lips may be used as flotation devices. The effect was exactly as if somebody had plastered a platinum wig on John Madden and then hit him flush across the chops with a canoe paddle. You talk about gruesome. Bring back the Bride of Wildenstein. God almighty. And this hotshot attorney, she 911s on her cell phone, manages to keep her from having to take a breathalyzer test. Hell, I wouldn't have thought she'd been out getting beaten by the Saki Panda anyway. I mean, everybody screams F you, white trash, at a bouncer, and then floors it in reverse for the assembled peasants at 2 in the morning wearing a lampshade on their head, don't they? What a skank. Oops, there's that darned old hostility again, Dono. Sorry. So anyway, back to tie-me-down Gary for a second. Imagine that, J.D. Kinky sex in Washington, D.C. Have we all forgotten Wilbur Mills chasing the Argentine firecracker through the reflecting pool? Gary Hart getting the lap dance in the monkey business? Jack Kennedy running his White House escort service cattle call? Clinton flinging DNA around the Oval Office like he was garnishing pizzas? Dick Morris, diaper on his butt and a cowgirl on his back. Please. If Gary's just tying babes to the bed, hell, in Washington, D.C., he's Mr. Etiquette. Nominate the son of a bitch for, well, if not the Nobel Peace Prize, at least the Nobel Get a Peace Prize. Ouch! A degree of salaciousness in, appropriately, the old Dick Scope today, I do. Dick, Scope, and all the rest of it, property of Dick Nixon, himself a former denizen of Washington, D.C., as a president of the United States.
IMUS in the Morning 2020 Sports rolls on.
Good morning. This is John Minko with sports, and the All-Star break is history. The Mets and Yankees both in action tonight. No games from last night. That means no scores, no highlights, no wacky cuts, Imus. But
Nothing.
nothing. No,
Didn't get on last hour. We just decided to blow you off. What is this?
well,
Mako talking about nothing.
nothing.
I mean, it's
Absolutely
ridiculous.
nothing. But we do have more from Stefan Dweck of Ontario Ivy and their Sports Funk program that was heard on WFAN radio in New York this week. And as you well know, one of the keys in being a solid talk show host is interacting with the callers.
Well, the NCAA just put out a statistical report where 1/3 of all the male basketball players don't graduate.
And I happen to know on Notre Dame they have about a 95% graduation rate.
Yeah, but they don't win.
And when talking about the Knicks and Coach Jeff Van Gundy's coaching abilities,
Can Jeff understand the concept of a running offense, of a fast break?
How can he understand that, but he doesn't understand the concept of combing your hair over? He looks like one of those buoys in the Hudson River.
and of course, the scouting report on Allen Houston and that hefty contract that has reportedly been agreed upon.
He's a suburban player. He's Reggie Miller Light. I got no problems with that. I already called him Mr. Scott because he's soft as tissue. I did say that. But his game is one-dimensional. I mean, the only driving this guy's going to do is on the West Side Highway.
Those guys did an excellent job in their show this past week.
This is really pathetic. Mako sucking up to the brothers.
Oh, wait a minute.
Well, I don't know.
After all, they did vote for me in the
suspicious
Sportscaster Challenge.
That's right.
Coincidence.
There you go. Well, that's right. It's
They did.
Very good.
They got their support. From the world of NASCAR, Tony Stewart is on, quote, double secret probation.
Whoa.
Earlier this season, Stewart spun out on Jeff Gordon on pit road. The penalty, probation. Then last Saturday in the race that took place at Daytona, he was black flagged for driving below the yellow line. He was irate. He refused to answer the flag, had an incident with a rider, knocked the tape recorder away. So what's the penalty? Another round of probation. The probations are running concurrently. From the International Sports Board comes word that Steffi Graf is pregnant and is due to give birth in November to a baby boy.
Yeah, boom.
Graf and Andre Agassi have been together for 2 years, and reportedly Graf and Agassi are working out details on a pre-nuptial agreement.
They come out looking like Patrick Rafter.
Well, that will be fine. Jesus, God.
And one final note, in New Zealand there is growing player unrest. With the British Open around the corner, golfers have turned their attention to the New Zealand Open in Wellington. Now you see Tiger Woods has demanded a $2 million appearance fee, and that has driven up ticket prices, and a number of New Zealand's top players are thinking of a boycott. Last year at this particular tournament, a week-long pass cost $20.50. This year, because of that $2 million appearance fee for Tiger Woods, $205.
Wow.
They have to dig deep into their pockets to go see these golfers play. And that's a look at sports. This is John Minko.
Thanks, Mink. It's 6 minutes till the hour. Here's Linda from Long Island. Good morning, Linda.
Hi, Imus. How you doing?
I'm all right, baby. How are you?
Baby, I just want to make a comment. You are looking better than you have ever looked.
Oh, my God.
And the kids look great. And listen, I got to tell you, as a Jewish woman, wait a minute, Bernie, come on now. As a Jewish woman and as a citizen of this crazy country, I just want to say, put Rabbi Gelman back on the air. They got to start reading the New Testament, the Old Testament. God has to be brought back because this is getting out of hand. They're always dissing the Jews, the blacks. It's jealousy, hatred. Bring back love, baby. Kinky Friedman is the man. That's all I got to say.
Oh, God. Okay.
Thank you.
Talk to it, Chief. I'll call 911.
Thanks, Linda. 5 till the hour now.
Cause the boys in the hood are always hard. Come talking that trash and we'll pull your card. Knowing nothing in life but to be legit. Don't quote me, boy, I ain't said shit. Punk ass tripping in the dead of night. Homie scored a key, he's gonna fly. Punk ass fly. Imus in the morning.
Looking for something to do on the weekend? Make it $1 million night at the Meadowlands Racetrack.
WFAN, the flagship station for New York Mets baseball.
Sports Radio 66.
Good morning, everybody. Couple minutes after 10 here on the Fan in New York City and Connecticut, New Jersey, and down to Delaware. And if the signal's going good today, heck, who knows? Maybe we're in Virginia. Jody Mack hanging out. Susan's on vacay, which means this week I am joined by Jumpin' Joe Beningo. How are you, Joe?
Oh, just tremendous today, Joe. What did I tell you? I told you this Monday, and you told me you got to be patient. Nothing's happened yet.
I was right.
I told there was no doubt that the longer
was I wrong?
The longer this went on,
all you had to wait was 48 hours, and you found out.
You found out. We sure found out. And I told you, the longer this went on, the worse it was going to be for the Rangers. If this deal didn't go down, like right after the opening day, there was a report, service of JCPenney, and Saturday, July 14th. Don't miss savings of 20 to 60% off store-wide at the JCPenney Penny Saturday, one-day only sale. It's all inside JCPenney. With reports every 20 minutes. This is John Minko, WFAN 20 Sports.
Your home for Imus in the morning and New York sports talk all day is The Fan. Sports Radio 66, WFAN New York.
Are you losing your hair? Hi, I'm Jim Austin with Sports on WFAN, the flagship station of New York Mets baseball.
Sports Radio 66, The Fan. WFAN New York.
Well, almost over now. 25 minutes. Jerry Recco, Sugar Ray Martell, Jacqueline Gordon, Sid Rosenberg, Dave Fontel. Before I get back to the phones at 718-937-6666, I have to read this instant access to you. Seems like we have a very big contingent out in Virginia. Jimmy Dandy and his boys at Roanoke. Roanoke was the very first colony. You know that? Is that right? At the colonies. Remember they had the... Sid Rosenberg with you here on a Saturday morning at WFAN New York. That was Joe Tollison, Kyle Casey's here, and Mark Malusis. Right up until 12:45. Mets Extra comes your way, and 1 o'clock this afternoon from Shea Stadium. Game 3 of the big series between the Mets and the Red Sox. Each team with 1 win. Rojo and Rush get the starts today. And the Yankees send them more Coppertone down in Florida. Vacation's going well. Baseball's not.
Fan Highway Patrol.
Now, Media Watch, a continuing expose laying bare the structural deficiencies of our national media organ, with veteran broadcast journalist Walter Cronkite. Return with me now to the 12th of July, 2001, a day like all days, packed with the pundits who interpret, analyze, and report the great events which impact our lives, and who, from time to time, reveal themselves to be the utter saps we long suspected that in fact they were. For men over the Media Watch examination journey today, and at Modesto, California congressman level, we find none other than Newsweek magazine's and NBC's Jonathan Alter, an individual we presumed to be one of America's most savvy and certainly least gullible news hounds, until that is the 12th of July. For it was on the IMUS in the Morning program that day that we discovered our old friend was not only not savvy, but in fact had apparently fallen out of the stupid tree and hit every branch on the way down. The I-Man had employed a staff member, news editor Christy Carlo, to pose as a prominent person in the news. In this case, Gary Condit concubine Anne-Marie Smith. IMUS interviewed Anne-Marie Carlo Smith ostensibly to ferret out details of her sex episodes with the Randy Congressman. At home, correspondent Alter listened intently, awaiting his subsequent guest appearance that morning on the IMUS show. Listen as Miss Carlo Smith revealed such details of her relationship with Congressman Condit as...
One of his obsessions is with Congressman Barney Frank, and I always thought that was a little strange. One time he bought me this rubber mask. It looked just like him, and asked me to take a shower with him wearing this mask. He kept dropping the soap and asking me to pick it up. I couldn't breathe in that thing.
Right.
It seemed to turn him on even more.
Alder leans forward, focusing even more intently on his radio, as Anne-Marie Carlo Smith added...
He was very into role-playing. I mean, his array of sex get-ups would make Madonna blush. I'm not kidding. Spiky bras, leather pants with the buttocks exposed. I'm not kidding. Give him a pair of those and a cowboy hat and bar the door, Nellie.
Bar the door, Nellie. Now, Alder furiously scribbles notes.
By the way, I have been contacted by CBS. I may be going on their next Survivor show. I'm just not sure yet at this point.
And then it's Alder's turn with IMUS. He alludes to the just concluded interview, stunned.
That was a mind-blowing interview. I mean, I didn't know what to make of it. She wants to go on Survivor.
Well?
I mean, she's turning this thing into a farce, and it's not like a normal sex case. You're talking about a young woman's life.
He's stunned. He's stupid. IMUS attempts to let him down gently.
Have you ever heard Richard Nixon on the IMUS program? That's not really him, Jonathan. He's dead, okay?
Yes, Jonathan, I'm dead. And flight attendant Anne-Marie Christy Carlo Smith did not frolic, so far as we know, in a Barney Frank mask and rubberized pants with a butt cutout, awaiting an audition call from Jeff Probst. Further, as you listen to the IMUS show while writing your next cover piece for Newsweek magazine, Jonathan, you should keep in mind the following. Yes, Alder, Nixon is dead. And what am I, Private?
I believe the general's referring to the fact that you're dead too, sir.
Are you dead, Private? Sound off like you were trying to drive some inane IMUS bit through Jonathan Alder's head.
Sir, General Patton's been dirt napping for 56 years. Alder ought to read a paper now and then, sir.
I couldn't agree more vigorously. Ted Kennedy here, Jonathan. And I don't think I'd rush out any Newsweek special issues based on something you hear me say in this particular forum. Let the word go forth from this time and place. It really isn't me. Andy Rooney, Jonathan. You ever feel like when you get up in the morning to shave, there should be this little sign that says, warning, objects in mirror are dumber than they appear? I do. And as, in fact, do I. Sad. For me to watch, and while it may come as a shock, Jonathan, this is not Walter Cronkite. Thank you, you moron, and good night. Now, stay tuned for our exclusive interview with Thomas Jefferson.
IMUS in the Morning 2020 Sports. You want scores?
You want scores? You can't handle scores. Here's Warner Wolf.
Good morning, Warner.
Good morning, I-Man. The new president of the International Olympic Committee is 59-year-old Belgian surgeon Jacques Roga, beating out such challengers as South Korea's Kim Un-yong, who was accused of offering each Olympic member $50,000 in expenses if he was elected. The newly elected Roga speaks 6 languages: Dutch, French, English, German, Spanish, and bribery. Hey,
fine.
If you were 37-year-old Fred McGriff, I-Man, and had a chance to go from the last place Tampa Bay Devil Rays to the first place Cubs with a shot at the playoffs, maybe the World Series, what would there be to think about? McGriff can't decide whether or not to waive his no-trade clause. Earth to Fred. Come on, Tampa's 25 games out. Get out when you can. Talk about where's the beef. Detroit Lions 380-pound offensive tackle Aaron Gibson was arrested over the weekend and charged with 2 counts of assault following a fight outside a Detroit nightclub. The question is, who would stand around and fight a 380-pound guy?
Well,
hit him and run. There's no way he could catch you. 10 yards and he's done. By the way, the name of the nightclub where the fight took place?
Yeah.
The Have a Nice Day Cafe. And believe it or not, the NFL preseason begins 3 weeks. Teams haven't even begun summer training camp, and there are already point spreads on the game. The only thing dumber than point spreads and exhibition games are those people who bet on the games. For IMUS in the Morning Sports, this is Warner Wolf.
IMUS in the morning.
Well, time for another healthcare highlight from the Hackensack University Medical Center. We could talk with Bob Schieffer from Face the Nation, CBS News.
Ain't gonna find her. Ain't gonna find her. Ain't gonna find her. Ain't gonna find her. Ain't gonna search it. Yeah, they've been searching. Ain't gonna searching for that girl who's MIA. Ain't gonna searching. Oh yeah, they keep searching. Ain't gonna hoping she don't turn up DOA. They sure could use some help searching. Maybe someone should call OJ. Ain't gonna find her. Well, they was sneaking around, throwing down, cheating on his wife. And once it was fun, but now the congressman has found he's ruined his life. Well, the media has worked themselves all up into a lather. It's all anybody's talking about except for Dan Rather. But kind of be searching. Slime ball, he be searching. Ain't go searching for a way he can escape before them DC police can find some incriminating tape. Ain't gonna find her. Well, it came to light, the double life. There's blue dog, whorehound lad, sexing up everything in the skirt, neckties underneath his bed. Took a polygraph, but don't make me laugh, 'cause you know the whole thing was fake. He's about as innocent as Robert Blake. So Gary, start searching. You better start searching.
Yeah.
You and your low-life mouthpiece, Abby. Whoa. Searching for your own jury. Won't give you life with no parole. They're gonna find you guilty. They're gonna find you. Who you think you are? President?
Every child needs someplace to go after school. So I think it's important to point out that the hours between 3 and 7 at night are the most vulnerable hours for young people to get in trouble. There is this sort of assumption that everybody that gets in trouble when they're young has just already been abandoned. That's not true. Most of the kids that get in trouble after school closes and before their parents get home from work.
Tell your mama, tell your pa, gonna see him and I'll be so no. Mama, you don't do right. IMUS in the morning.
If you're going to run 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, you have to count on
George F. Patton Jr.
At ease, as you were. Well, boys, the domestic equivalent of the Bataan Death March has begun. I don't know what criminal act you or I ever committed to deserve this fate, but it's here. Over the next several weeks, we're going to be dispatching you people individually on a mission that is so fraught with peril, hazard, and threat that I expect few, if any of you, will ever be seen again. I feel certain that you have some idea of what I'm talking about.
We're gonna have to date Gary Condit, sir?
No, soldier, it's worse. There would always be the slight chance you might be able to escape Condit if you know how to untie a Windsor knot. No, from what I'm talking about, I don't think there can be any safe haven or asylum. Boys, I'm not going to try to sugarcoat this. Each of you, one by one, in the immediate weeks to come, is going to be called on to pull a tour of duty at the IMUS Ranch. Did that man just shoot himself? Medic, we've got a man down. Get the son of a bitch to triage. See if you can stop that bleeding. Normally, as you know, I hate a coward. But in this case, well, anyway, people, as I said, it's underway. The first conscript has already been inserted onto the IMUS ranch property.
Oh, Jesus, sir. Who was it? Who got it?
McCord, the poor bastard. McCord, Chuck E., the four-eyed stiff who's been IMUS's personal attaché for 150 years.
You mean Butt Boy, sir?
That, too. He hit the drop zone after dark Sunday.
Any communication from him since then, sir?
Well, he has appeared on the air in his accustomed IMUS program role, or at least someone who resembles him.
Yep.
But whoever it is, it looks to us as though he's trying to make a hostage tape.
Blinking his eyes in Morse code, sir?
Perhaps. Intelligence is still studying the video. But what they think they've deciphered so far seems to be, get me the F something or other out of here.
But don't the Geneva Conventions on the Protection of Victims of Non-International Conflicts apply?
Beyond their scope, Private. The authors never considered dealing with Fred Imus, sheep as objects of occult eroticism, farm dogs whose psychosis is that if you make eye contact with them, they'll leave you looking like you just stuck your arm in a snowblower. Saddle horses that all think Christopher Reeve was just a good start. And a blonde woman who's running around staring at the sun, hugging everything with chlorophyll in it, and swabbing the commodes with a loofah sponge.
Well, better McCord than the rest of us, sir.
What do you mean, Private? You are next.
Excuse me, sir?
McCord's this week. You ship out next week.
Oh, my God.
Private Kenny the week after that.
Larry, he won't last 30 seconds.
And Private McGurk after that.
We all gotta go?
You'll all have proper burials.
Where, sir?
Brand new monument, Private. The tomb of the unknown sycophants.
Any final meal?
Of course. Wheatgrass and mung bean.
Jesus.
Thank you for your sacrifice. That is all.
29 after the hour here on the IMUS to the Morning program. The priest and rabbi are going to be in a little bit later to talk about, well, a number of issues, but...
Stuff going on.
Yeah, we're really interested in the stem cell thing and also the rabbi's take on the Chandra Levy-Monica Lewinsky situation, and to see if there's any connection there in the mind of Rabbi Gilman, and I'm somewhat certain there will be.
Certainly.
And then later on this morning, Howard Kurtz, media critic for the Washington Post, and a fine one. And on Thursday, it will be Nutty Thursday with Dan Rather.
Yeah.
And Dan's book's out, and Dan was going to be on sooner, I guess, but they wanted to FedEx a book to me so that I could, well, take a look at it.
Sure. Come on.
Speaking of CBS News, here now from Face the Nation, Chief Washington Correspondent for CBS News, our old friend Bob Schieffer. Good morning, Mr. Schieffer.
Oh, good morning.
In a dress is what wrecked the marriage between, what's this guy's name, Carmine?
Carmine Agnello.
And Victoria Gotti, who is a very attractive woman.
Striking. Absolutely.
And speaking of novelists, an accomplished novelist apparently herself.
Yeah.
And now a columnist for the Washington Post, for the New York Post. Huh?
New York Post.
New York Post, yeah, well.
Idiot.
Well, okay. So, that's inexplicable, isn't it?
Well, you would... Yes, it is surprising. Yes.
And the bouncer who Lizzie Grubman called white trash, because he didn't want her to park in a fire lane out there in the Hamptons, is suing her now for $27 million, claiming that that she was consuming alcohol and illegal drugs within 8 hours of the incident, which is, if that's true, it's certainly not surprising. So,
she's on the front page of the Daily News, looking fairly snappy.
The lawsuits there are piling up. It's about 60 grand now.
Yep, he's the fourth, I believe.
60 million.
60 million, right. Fourth to bring suit. Scott Conlon.
Yeah. So that'll keep her and her dad busy for...
Oh, yeah.
Some time now.
Sure.
She'll be a waitress at the Conscience Inn Point, whatever that place is called.
Hey,
shown something. You've proven something.
I think I have demonstrated
Absolutely.
that I can go without a drink. And so today...
Right.
And those of y'all watching MSNBC, Chuck will be on a horse on television tomorrow morning. He hadn't been on one since he was 10 years old, which, of course, as you know, was 205 years ago.
IMUS in the morning.
Shape. So I'm recovering from being drunk.
Yeah.
And the late Jim Collins is down there, and a couple other people, and they said, maybe you ought to go down to... Now I'm hooked on oxygen. Which I have this thing in my nose now, which I no longer need, by the way. But I like it. And then I find out they have these oxygen bars around the country. You can go and get a hit of oxygen.
And go hang.
And man, this is very cool. It makes noise, too, because I turn it up so high. But I actually like it. Also, Gary Condon's searching an IMUS in the Morning Zoo wacky song parody.
Right.
And there is a possibility that we will actually talk with Victoria Gotti this morning, because are they divorced now, Bernie?
They're not. The divorce has not been finalized. They're separated.
Here's somebody I would just suggest is not that bright. If you're married to John Gotti's daughter, it would seem to me you'd pretty much walk the line.
Boy, no kidding.
Right. Particularly, she's a very attractive, talented woman.
Right,
that's
very
number
smart.
one.
Absolutely.
Yeah, you're hosing some junkyard pig who works for you.
Yeah, I mean, I don't understand that. Somebody looks like Tommy Lasorda in a dress.
Yep.
I mean, that's just ugly. So Carmine's not getting it done.
Not thinking.
And no, it's not. Also, Charles is out here at the ranch with me, and we'll be on a horse this afternoon. I gave Charles a pair of Lucchese boots that I bought up in Boston.
Thank you, man.
You know, Doug Newton from Billy Martin's, we get boots from Justin, and they're pretty good boots. The best boot on the planet. And I used to
very, very critical.
And put some heavy-duty pressure on them to give me, I need a couple hundred pair of Lucchese cowboy boots for the kids.
Damn right.
Because my policy out here at the ranch is that the kids, I don't want the kids wearing anything I wouldn't wear, and I just don't. So they wear Wrangler jeans.
Right.
They wear Wrangler shirts, and I guess I could get them some Bob Davis shirts, but I don't think they need those. But
probably not.
But Wrangler shirts and Wrangler jeans and resist all cowboy hats. Now, I got a nice letter from the lady.
Keep those teethus in your mouth, Warner. You could bite somebody.
Good morning, Warner.
Good morning, I-Man. I-Man, you want to hear a 15-second story about Kathleen Graham?
No.
No, okay.
Yeah, well, go ahead.
All
15
right.
seconds
All
here.
right. I worked for 11 years. 1973, there was a strike involving the announcers, which we didn't want. And it'd been on 10 days. We went down to the Post building, gave her a bouquet of flowers, and the next day the strike was over. She was a very nice woman and had no airs about her. I think that was the key.
Yeah.
Baseball.
That was 22 seconds, Warner.
I owe you 7.
Yeah.
Baseball, 12 innings. Yanks beat the Phillies 4-1. Bottom line, if a game goes into extra innings, the chances are the Yankees will win because their bullpen is better than yours.
Yeah.
The Red Sox lost to Montreal. Before the game, Expos coach Ozzie Guillen was ejected by plate umpire Greg Gibson when the two began to argue during the exchange of the lineup card.
What?
Yeah. They're exchanging the lineup card. He gives him the lineup and says, "You're out of the game." They're arguing. And Gibson had thrown him out also the night before. And in the day and age of 3.5-hour games, Greg Maddux all the way on a 6-hitter beat the Rays. The game was over in 2 hours and 3 minutes. And finally, what in the world is Major League Baseball thinking of? Ordering the umpires to cut down on the pitch count to start calling more strikes. I mean, how are they going to call more strikes if the pitch is a ball? This is really outrageous, I-Man.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
And it makes the Major League office look really horrible.
Yeah, I'm really worked up about it.
You should be. I can see you are. For IMUS in the Morning Sports, this is Warner
You're
Wolf.
out.
1, 2, 3. IMUS in the morning.
Oh, man, is he lost.
Good Lord.
He is lost, Lou.
Completely.
I mean, he is completely lost.
Let's be honest. No clue from Warner.
Oh, my God. Just not a clue.
Who cares about the strike zone?
Nobody. A lot of people are playing the stock market like they were rolling them bones with Bo in Vegas, but... And they lost their shirts. That's what happened. But buying stock in quality companies. IMUS the morning is 20 minutes after the hour. Lizzie Grubman, who is a PR person, head of a PR firm in New York City, and the daughter of Alan Grubman, the famed entertainment attorney, was involved in a how would you describe it, Charles?
Well, just a bizarre incident in which she is allegedly backed her Mercedes-Benz SUV into a line of people waiting to get into the Shishi Conscious Point Inn
at 2 o'clock in the morning out in the Hamptons.
And it wound up injuring 16 people in that after she had supposedly became very angry at a bouncer who had told her, "You're illegally parked, you're going to have to move."
And then she apparently fled the scene as well.
And then apparently fled the scene, and as somebody said, they opened the door on the SUV after she backed into the people, and she fell out.
They're actually selling T-shirts on a website called www.hitandrunbitch.com.
Could you get me one? Anyway, here now on the IMUS Morning program, the aforementioned Lizzie Grubman. Good morning, Miss Grubman.
Oh, good morning, Imus.
And you're calling from where?
Yeah, I'm calling from my cell phone in my car. I have no time today. I'm booked with meetings, the lawyers, the cops, blah, blah, blah. Ugh, this whole thing is such a drag.
Mm-hmm. Well, being a public relations, you seem sort of, by the way, cavalier about all this. It just by the tone of your voice. But
the whole thing is ridiculous. I mean, it's just all been blown out of proportion.
Well, I guess my first question would be, being a public relations person, how do you feel about being on the other end of all of this media scrutiny?
Like, not good, okay? I mean, it's a total pain in the ass, this whole thing. No one was killed. I mean, a few broken bones. God, you'd think it was like Columbine or something, like I pulled out an Uzi or a machete. I mean, it's ridiculous. I'm going to look at a Range Rover right now. They don't dent when you hit people. Jesus.
Well, from what I understand, Miss Grubman, there were some people who were actually seriously injured.
Oh, cry me a river. Wah! I mean, they should have gotten out of the way. I mean, duh, you see a car coming. What do? Like, run, maybe? Besides, I mean, as far as I'm concerned, frankly, that club needed a bigger entrance. I was doing them a favor. Hey, F you a-hole. Get out of the way. Where'd you learn to drive? Florida? Jesus. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
How did this whole thing start? I mean, the reports that I've seen were that you were angry because you were apparently parked in a fire lane and a bouncer told you to move.
Oh, please. He was like a Nazi. Give me a break. It was a perfectly fine parking spot, all right? This Adolf, walks up to me. He starts screaming, "Move your effing car." No one talks to me like that. Okay, so I just told him like it was. I mean, I don't know what trailer park he came out of, but I can tell you right now that his Wonder Bread eating ass is not going to be approaching any Mercedes in the near future. I definitely took care of him.
Did you intentionally back over these people then?
Well, if the hubcap fits, I mean, I got to tell you, honestly, they looked kind of funny. It looked like bowling pins going down. Daddy isn't too happy with me, though. I mean, he's actually threatened to take the unlimited gold card away. I'm very upset about that, and he says I can never drive the Mercedes again. I mean, I think that's a little harsh, don't you? I do, personally. I just think that's a little overreaction on his part, but whatever.
What about the fact that you fled the scene?
Well, I mean, all right, if we really have to go into this, I had my period, okay? I needed to go change my tampon. I didn't have one with me, and it would have been really embarrassing. I mean, the media showing up, the police with stained pants, and, not to mention I had the biggest case of the munchies, and I had these fresh poppy seed bagels and lox and my boyfriend's. I just couldn't wait to go, dive into them. I mean, the cops could wait. You got a case of the munchies and you're PMSing. There are priorities.
One of the bouncers, of course, at the nightclub said that you were seen drinking and doing drugs earlier that evening. Is that true?
Well, I mean, I had like 5 or 6 Cosmos. I did some lines of coke to pick me up. Otherwise, I would have been completely buzzed. What did you expect me to do? I mean, I'm sure you remember from your partying days, Imus. The blow was like I had a grande frappuccino from Starbucks. I mean, I was completely alert, completely awake. To say I was drunk is just effing ridiculous, all right? It's ridiculous.
You've hired, I understand you've hired a bodyguard.
Yes. People have been threatening my life, and the worst threats, frankly, have been coming from my father. I mean, he's really pissed. And I have to say, if he keeps this up, I'm not getting him those Gucci loafers he says he wants for his birthday. Anyway.
How do you respond to some of the accusations that you look like Don Zimmer or Tommy Lasorda in a dress?
Please. They wish they could have one night with me, all right? It's ridiculous. The whole thing is absurd.
Potentially here, this could wind up, and you could wind up doing some prison time.
Prison time? You've got to be kidding me. You're not talking to some little white trash Joey Buttafuoco bopping slut named Amy Fisher, okay? I'm going to St. Bart's next week with my girlfriends. I mean, the police say they're going to try to stop me. I'd like to see them. Oh, that reminds me, I have to call my travel agent, remind her to book a rental car while I'm down there. Wait, let me write that in my agenda book. Oh, God. Oh, my God. Oh, did I? Oh, I just hit that baby stroller. That dumb bitch. Why weren't you looking where you were going?
Lizzie Grubman here on the...
Oh, my God. I've got to go. Bye.
Lizzie Grubman here on the IMUS in the Morning program. It's 25 after the hour.
Sounds a little distraught.
Sounds like she hasn't learned anything.
Apparently not, no. That was Lizzie Grubman.
Like I said, she's going to be backing into her cellmate's tongue for the next 5 to 15 years. And then maybe she'll learn.
A transcript of that can be found in Jonathan Alder's column in Newsweek.
We'll give you a clean feed.
Oh, wait a minute.
show with Joe Beningo, 718-937-6666. Here's the phone number carrying you right through till 5:30 when the IMUS in the Morning program comes your way. The lovely Jacqueline Gordon, the incomparable Sugar Ray Martell on the other side of the glass. And we opened up tonight with baseball. The Yankees, another rough night at Comerica Park. They lose for the 9th time in 12 games at Comerica as they're beaten up 11-2 by the Tigers. Lose 2 out of 3 in this series.
Down on your knees, cause I'm sick of the disrespect. If you don't disrespect me.
Sports Funk. The Ivy Dweck Sports Report. Enough said.
Hi-ho! Sports Funk 305. I'm telling you, it's not your daddy's sports talk. It's a whole new flavor.
That's
right.
Sports
Funk. Monteria Ivy.
Stefan Dweck.
Here with you until 4 o'clock. And so far, we've had a great day. We've had fun talking with Kenny Mayne from ESPN, Harry Carson from the New York Football Giants.
Regina and Nene, who tortured me.
All right. Also, Sharon, the sports psychic, who will be back for those who missed it before we leave today. And also your calls. We've been talking baseball. We've been talking about Barry Bonds, Mets, Yankees. We're going to be talking... Well, when we come back, we're going to take your calls, 718-936-6666. You're inside the Sports Funk with Monteria Ivy.
Stefan Dweck.
And the band. Yeah, Fig is in the house.
Sure enough. Send us your instant message right now while you're listening to The Fan. Get on the web at WFAN.com and click on Fan Instant Access. It's another way to talk to us day or night here on Sports Radio 66, WFAN, New York.
Hey, I'm Ben Affleck. And I'm Matt Damon.
We're Ackerman, WFAN 2020 Sports.
Your home for Sunday Night Baseball is The Fan, and this week's game features the Dodgers and Rockies from Coors Field in Denver. Our coverage begins tomorrow night at 7:35, exclusively on Sports Radio 66, WFAN, New York.
Toyota. Sports Radio 66, The Fan, WFAN, New York.
This is Sharon, Cleo's sister, the one with the true psychic power to illuminate your path. And by the way, the authentic West Indian accent that Heifer's about is authentically Jamaican as a meat patty made in Brooklyn. I really believe she was actually adopted. She's a thief, too. That turban she's wearing on TV, that's mine. She stole it from me. I predict a real ass-whooping in Cleo's future if she don't return my things. But anyway, call me now if you have any problems. First caller, please.
Yo, Sharon, I'm always getting picked on just for trying to hang out with my friends. What can I do?
Ain't nobody picking on your big dumbass Anthony Mason. You just a jack of all hosses. Here you are, a big grown man, playing in the NBA, making millions of dollars, but you love to pick up women at Girl Scout meetings. You bring new meaning to the words, eat your brownies. If it ain't that, you're getting into fights at nightclubs and wondering why can people identify your ass?
Yeah, why is that?
Because you're a 7-foot-tall black man with your name carved in the side of your thick skull. Why you think, Einstein? You're a real GED baby. Now find yourself a new barber and get off me line, please. Next caller.
Hello, Sharon. I'm a public figure that's been maimed, mangled, and maligned by a malicious media. What can I do?
Well, the first thing you can do, Mr. Congressman Gary Condit, is to come clean and confess where you dumped a poor young girl's body.
But I'm not a suspect, Sharon.
If the police is watching you morning, noon, and night, sifting through your apartment and asking for DNA, you know DNA stands for that nasty ass, then the only thing missing is a little Italian detective in an old trench coat following your ass around. Trust me, Columbo, you is a suspect. Next caller, please.
Hi, Sharon. I just want to say I am so sorry.
Oh, please, man. You've been singing that song for 2 weeks now, Lizzie Grooveman. Give it a rest. Me tired of seeing your face in the newspapers every day. You look like the illegitimate love child of Don Zimmer and Phyllis Dillard.
But I really am sorry.
Of course you're sorry now. Now that everybody and the mother's trying to sue your bumbleclot. You ain't nothing but a spoiled princess who likes to run over white trash, which I don't really have a problem with. But then you try to cover up your mess by hiring a fancy double-talking lawyer.
But I don't remember anything.
Oh, no, you don't remember nothing. But you did remember to get the hell away from that club before the police showed up. And you remember to stay in hiding long enough for the drugs and the alcohol to wear off.
How did you know?
I'm a psychic, you stupid bitch. You should join NASCAR. You and Halle Berry should team up and be partners. Lizzie Wrongway Groupman and a Halle Hatchback Berry. Maybe this will refresh your memory, baby.
Lizzie, put the car in park. That ain't park. That's my fun. Oh, Sharon, the sports psychic, one more time inside of Sports Funk. Monteria Ivy.
Stefan Dweck.
Here with you. The number to call, 718-937-6666. And before you go to the phone, Stefan, just a quick shout-out to Court from Jersey, who contacted us online, chimed in about the DH. I'm not going to go through that, but his second point was that he thinks Barry Bonds, based on an interview...
Night after 10 nights, based upon average paid rate of $50 per night.
Sports Radio 66, WFAN.
All right.
Monty, I'm tired of that Pat Boone kind of thing going on. We really got to talk to the Grand Nagus about that.
We gotta talk to
Say that for, the Mad Dog and Adam Shine and one of these guys.
Well, real quick, before we turn to the phones, I want to say thank you to Cal Casey for helping us out, our producer today. Also, Ann on the board there. Appreciate her help. Yeah. Adam Shine is coming up next after us. Also, quick shout-out, Mr. and Mrs. Ivy. Thank you so much. Mr. and Mrs. Ivy. Mrs. Ivy and Ms. Dweck. So thank you so much. Also, a big shout-out to the Fig Man, the band in the house. We appreciate that and all your help. And here it comes, the Sports Funk Fast Break. We're going to try and get as many callers in with the few minutes we have left, so you have to make your point real quick so that we can try and squeeze them all in.
Baby.
So the fast break begins now.
Steve, Staten Island, Sports Funk, talk to me.
Allen Houston, they had to sign Allen Houston because the cap problem. If they don't sign him, they just lose him. They can't sign anybody else. It's the cap problem here.
All right, thank you. And they need to get around that cap problem, and I don't care if they have to blow it up and start all over again.
He's a one-dimensional player, suburban, over the SUV and around the barbecue.
Nothing but net.
There you go.
Next up on the fast break.
We've got Dwayne on the car phone.
Hit me, Dwayne.
Sports Funk.
Yes, comment of some guy named Al talking about Piazza. Real quick, about him being great at blocking the plate. Am I the only one who remembers him not blocking the plate on Jorge Posada scoring the winning run in the World Series?
Thank you very much.
He didn't come close. He was about 2 feet behind home plate. He was afraid, and Bobby Valentine couldn't even defend it. And second of all, real quick, I think you're right about him calling pitches. Very few catchers call pitches anymore.
There you go. Thank you. A lot of them are called from the dugout by the pitching coach.
We got Brian from Pearl River. You're on Sports Funk.
Hey, how you doing, guys? I enjoy your show. Al happens to be my old man. I was turning on the radio, and all of a sudden I hear my old man preaching Piazza.
You really?
I got to tell you, I love my old man. I like Piazza. I totally agree with you guys. First of all, that hair's got to go.
I know the blonde thing.
But the second thing is, and that caller right before me just made a great point about blocking the plate. Piazza, in and of itself, he's a soft guy. I mean, we saw it with Clemens. We saw it. We saw a soft guy. I would go so far as to say if I could turn around and get a Charles Johnson and a young pitcher and a young player, I'd consider trading Piazza.
I wouldn't trade him, but he does very well going after 50-year-old umpires, if you saw him last night.
Mr. Scott, like tissue.
Oh, man, I hear you. But thank you, Brian. All right, so Adam Shine is going to be up next. We want to, again, thank all of you for your calls, for listening. Sports Funk.
We'll be on next week, July 28th, 5 to 9.
5 to 9 after the Met game. But we're here every Saturday. Call us up. We're having a great time. Thank you, Ackerman, for all your help and for being a good sport.
Ackerman!
Can't wait to see you and speak to you again.
Sports Funk!
Monteria Ivy.
Stefan Dweck.
Peace!
Sports Radio 66. The Fan. WFAN.
Listen to IMUS in the morning from 5:30 to 10, followed by Sports Talk with Susan Waldman and Jody McDonald from 10 to 1, and Mike and the Mad Dog from 1 to 6:30 on The Fan, Sports Radio 66, WFAN New York, an Infinity Broadcasting Station. WFAN 2020 Sports.
Good afternoon at 4 o'clock. This is Rich Ackerman moving to...
high in the mid-80s. 79 right now in Central Park, and that's what's happening. This is Rich Ackerman with 2020 Sports on WFAN, the flagship station for New York Mets baseball.
Sports Radio 66, WFAN, New York.
404 on the Fan. Adam Shine talking sports with you at 718-937-6666, taking you up until 6:25 this evening when Annie Coleman brings you Mets Extra from Philadelphia. Mets and Phillies. Game 2 of their series, which obviously did not go the Mets' way last night in the city of brotherly love. Speaking of love, Kyle Casey and Ann D'Amico on the other side of the glass. Always great to be joined by those guys, and of course we'll...
It's jammed up there, and geez, we might be headed for a playoff. We'll keep you up to date on that. We'll try to get somebody from England like Graham Agars in a bit.
Sports Radio 66, the Fan, WFAN.
Today, right after Sunday Sports Talk with Richard Neer, it's Mets baseball as the Mets and Phillies wrap up their weekend series at the Vet. Game time is 1:35 with Mets Extra at 12:55. And coming up at 7:35, we've got Sunday Night Baseball from Coors Field as the Colorado Rockies host the Los Angeles Dodgers. When you're looking to talk New York sports and get the best games in town, there's only one place to be, and that's the Fan. Sports Radio 66, WFAN New York. An Infinity Broadcasting Station. WFAN 2020 Sports.
Good morning at 10 o'clock. This is John Benko.
Yeah, it is surprising. Ray Ordonez every year, usually in September, hits a home run. This year it came early. Somebody said that he hits home runs, I think it's one every 454 at-bats, about as often as a solar eclipse. We'll delve into these kind of deep issues with John Heyman from Newsday in just a little bit. Stay with us.
Sports Radio 66, the Fan, WFAN.
Listen to IMUS in the morning from 5:30 to 10, followed by Sports Talk with Susan Waldman and Jody McDonald from 10 to 1, and Mike and the Mad Dog from 1 to 6:30 on the Fan, Sports Radio 66, WFAN New York, an Infinity Broadcasting Station. WFAN 2020 Sports.
Good morning at 11 o'clock. This is John Benko. No question.
Why is that guy holding a gun to their head?
Where does it say you can call me Don? That's the first thing.
Dear Mr.
That's very sweet of you guys. Thank you very much. Now get out of the studio. I'm begging you. No, it is very nice of you. Thanks, you guys.
Yeah, that was worth getting up at 4 o'clock in the morning.
Here's an America Online. Oh, thanks, honey. Here's an America Online instant message. How did you get such a sophisticated vocabulary? You use words that I teach to high school students. Really?
Well, fine.
You use your tongue prettier than a $5 whore.
This is a pretty good one. The Cardinal mentioned Leave It to Beaver last Friday. This is America Online instant message. The greatest line from that show was when June said to Ward at the breakfast table one morning, Ward, weren't you a little rough on the beaver last night?
All right now.
Stay on your best behavior over there.
Soupy Sales lives.
Might want to get out that Kinky Friedman bumper there.
I think so.
And this, David Fair, a friend of Charles, a tennis pro, or is he a tennis pro? Yeah. And they had this courtside classic golf outing and tennis deal for the benefit of the ranch. The first year they had it. It's a little local deal out in New Jersey.
Yeah.
They raised $10,000.
Unbelievable.
Very close. Well, yeah, $10,000. Close to it. That was very nice of David Fair and his wife, Betty.
His wife, Chrissy.
Oh, whatever. Chrissy, Betty, whatever. The blonde-headed chick.
That's right.
Anyway, that's very nice of David Fair and all of them. And, we were reading, we have Michael Is Michael Isikoff ready?
Yes, he is.
Let's talk to him.
Sure.
Here from Newsweek Magazine is, their lead guy on this whole Chandra Levy thing and a lot of other stuff, and was on the Clinton situation, a number of other things. Good morning, Mr. Isikoff.
Good morning.
How are you?
We are into the final week, up until the 31st, to decide and figure out, dissect, and analyze just what the Metropolitans are going to do. We are going to find out very soon. We have a few more hours of a schmooze right here on your Fan, New York.
Sports Radio
talking with Dan Rather, the anchor of the CBS Evening News, managing editor as well. Charles says, I'll bet tonight is the night he'll decide to report some aspect of the Gary Condon Chandra Levy case, and I said he would not do that to us.
Well, I'll tell you frankly what happened. I mean, I work with some really good people, and they came in and said, good God Almighty, Red, are you going to be on IMUS tomorrow? I said, well, yeah. They said, listen, we got to save you from yourself. We're going to run some of this stuff tonight. You got to know, I'd rather walk through a furnace in a gasoline suit than be on this program this morning.
If your radio sounds funny in the morning, you're listening to IMUS in the morning.
I'm worried about you and Charles. I tuned in yesterday morning, and I see one guy with tubes in his nose, the other guy wrapped in bandages. And I thought, I thought it might be watching Boris Karloff meets the mummy or something.
IMUS in the morning on the Fan. Sports Radio 66 WFAN.
Talk sports all day and wake up with IMUS in the morning from 5:30 to 10 a.m. here on the Fan. Sports Radio 66 WFAN New York, an Infinity broadcasting station. WFAN 2020 Sports.
Good evening. It's 9 o'clock. I'm Joe Tollison. That's what's happening. I'm Joe Tollison with 2020 Sports and WFAN, the flagship station for the IMUS in the Morning program, tomorrow from 5:30 till 10.
Sports Radio 66 WFAN New York.
Well, good evening to you. How you be? 9:04, 55 seconds on a Monday night on your Fan, New York City. And Steve Summers here, and to you there, Kevin Mooney, Kyle Casey. They're on the other side of the glass. 718-937-6666. The number for the Monday Schmooze until Joe Beningo at 1 on your Fan, New York. As advertised, we are joined right now by Mr. Mark Berman of your New York Post. Good evening, Mark.
To New York, and all I got was this lousy T-shirt.
Yeah. Anyway, Delbert and Gary wrote a song called When Rita Leaves, which is
classic stuff.
You have my cynical old brother who's just is the most annoying bastard on the planet.
Yep.
And cynical.
No, he's not the most annoying bastard
One
on
of
the
them.
planet. Yeah.
Man, he said that. He heard that. He said, man, that is a great song.
Yep, that's an anthem stuff.
So here, a very prickly Delbert McClendon. And When Rita Lives. Release.
Dope. I don't want to dope.
She left a lipstick letter on the mirror, shattered on the bathroom floor. All I could put back together was never see me no more. Took all her clothes but one red dress, the one she knows I like the best. All I could do was clean up the mess and wonder where she had gone. I had a sky blue ragtop Mustang, 1964. She drove it off into the night till it just wouldn't go no more. She caught it right on into town, bought some gas and laid the top down. Then she burned that pony to the ground on the desert in New Mexico. When Rita leaves, Rita's gone. She gave me every chance a man could want. I've never known a love so strong or so crazy when she's been done wrong. When Rita leaves, Rita's gone.
put a call into her mamacita back in El Paso. She said she got the story from Rita on her way to Mexico. Her mama knew I was taking it hard. Said she was sorry about my car. She said you're lucky all she broke was your heart. You better just let her go. When Rita leaves, Rita's gone. She gave me every chance a man could want. I've never known a love so strong or so crazy when she's been done wrong. When Rita leaves, Rita's gone. When Rita leaves, Rita's gone.
Oh, God, that is
It
great.
doesn't get any better than that.
Doesn't get any better than that.
It does not.
God, Gary, that is
Gee,
great.
Fabulous.
Gary Nicholson on guitar. God, that is
That
great work,
just
Gary.
sounded fantastic.
You weren't too bad yourself, Delbert.
Thank you, brother. I appreciate that.
No, man, that is from Delbert's album, Nothing Personal.
Good
Which is on New West Records, available everywhere, of course. And you...
That is poetry.
Hey, Delbert, can we? May we make a request?
Yeah.
Okay, we want to either hear "I'm With You," "Dreams to Remember."
Oh man.
Or what else would you want to hear?
Oh well, it's just please. Who knows?
Or Why Me?
Why me?
That's the one you did with Paul Schaefer.
Man, yeah, I know.
You know Dreams?
Dreams to remember.
What key was it in? Jesus, man, I don't know.
You don't know what key it's in?
Well, no, I don't play on that one, so, you know, I just tell the band. That's what I hire them for, is to remember the key.
Well, what key do you sing in?
Well, I sing in most keys, Don, but you gotta have, you gotta know which key. I don't know the key.
A.
No, it ain't A.
It's not A?
What key is that?
What is it, Charles? You know.
I don't know what it is, buddy.
Yeah, we'll try it in B flat. How about that?
It's the old Otis Redding song that I'm not patronizing Delbert at all. But
No, I know.
Charles,
We talked about this yesterday.
I've heard Otis's version of it, and Delbert's is better. Well, all right, here's Delbert McLean. Doesn't even know what key it's in. This is embarrassing.
Well, if it's in the wrong key, I won't sing very much of it. Good.
Okay.
Good. I've got dreams to remember. I've got dreams, my dreams to remember.
Hey, Delbert, I think this is too high for you.
You think so, brother?
Yeah.
I think you're right. I thought it was good too, but we'll stop anyway. Hell, I was getting into it.
Yeah, thanks a lot.
I was getting ready to bust out, bud.
You were.
I
thought that was
Kick
Dick
out
James
the
singing.
jazz.
Well, Charles told me he thought it was too high.
Well, what does Charles know?
What do I know? This is reason to stop Delbert?
Well, Charles is a musician. Charles plays the piano and all that.
And we got a piano in here for him. Where is he?
Well, try it. Well, what was that in?
That's B flat.
Well, you done broke my groove now, man. I can't get back on it. You're like working for one of them Nashville TV shows.
Well, try it again. We're begging you. I'm sorry. I apologize.
No, hell, I can't do it again.
How about
you killed the groove.
I did.
It's over.
Bastard.
Once the groove's dead, man, you just can't get it back.
Well, how about I'm With You? Do you know that one?
Do you know that one? Here comes the weekend, honey. What's going on? Do we put our feet up, honey? Party all night long, oh, baby. Whatever. I'm with you. Are we stay at home? Are we going downtown? Are we can learn to live without as long as I'm with you. Till the sun stops burning. I'm with you. Till the world stops turning. Till the end of time. I'm with you. Till the end of time. Oh, baby, I'm with you.
That's pretty good. Well, Delbert, I'm sorry this was, I'm sorry I was a little testy this morning.
This has been contentious for Delbert for no reason.
Check and see if anybody put an alligator clip on you. Oh, man, that may be it. You may not be getting enough oxygen.
That very well could be.
No, Delbert's me. I'm standing on that damn oxygen hose, believe me.
The great Delbert McClinton.
Just give him what he needs, you know.
And Gary Nicholson here on the IMUS Morning Program. The album is called Nothing Personal. Delbert will be sitting in with a band tonight on Letterman, and Delbert is on tour all over the country. So if he's in your town, go see him. Delbert, thank you very much.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate it.
Delbert McClinton here on the IMUS Morning Program.
IMUS in the morning.
This is how the...
I mean, you use a buckwheat pillow. What does that mean?
Well, what other... I mean, if his quote was, when he was talking about the CBS executives caving in, the night before he appeared in this program, they did the Shonda Lieber story.
For the first time.
For the first time.
Yeah.
And Rather said they got the willies, they got the buckwheats. Their knees wobbled, and we gave it up. That's what he told me. And apparently, 14 years ago, the NAACP was outraged over Ed Tills, who was a disc jockey, I guess, in Atlanta or someplace, or Augusta or someplace. He had made a buckwheat remark, but I don't know what his remark was.
I don't know.
He said he referred to a politician that had sounded like buckwheat. That was a direct... It was making a direct comparison between, I think, a black man and buckwheat. And he got hammered. He was taken off the air, I believe.
Right.
Well, it'd be like if you said, I'm stymied.
Yeah.
I mean, what's the big... Everybody uses that, and that comes from, I believe it comes from the character from the Little Rascals named Stymie.
Oh, I see.
Or maybe...
Well, there's no other place it could come from.
Well, let's call William F. Buckley and find out. William Sapphire.
Ed Newman, somebody. Well, I mean, Dan Rather is the last person on this planet who would make a racial remark, period.
What if I said Chandra Levy got OJ'd? Come on. Gotta chill.
Well, I think that's more a violence remark than it is a racial remark. But I don't understand. See, I didn't know what he meant. Neither did Charles. We thought there's another one of those ratherisms, you know, like 2 ticks on a hound dog colder than a Budweiser or whatever the hell he's talking about.
Colder than a water at a sewage plant or whatever.
Tamp them up solid with a turd in a punch bowl. I don't know. Whatever.
It has different meanings, though.
Yeah.
In mafia terms, when you're going to get hit on, you're buckwheats also.
Really?
Yeah, it's also been, I've heard it used in that term.
It's a very graphic form of extinction.
Like when you're going to get, when it's over for you, they say, oh man, I'm buckwheats.
It's like when I go to the bathroom, I say, I want to take an IMUS. Somebody gets upset.
When I go, I'm going to wipe my McGirt.
With a little bit of Rufino paper.
Spray some McCord in here.
9 minutes.
Get rid of the McCord odor.
9 minutes. That's enough from all of you. 9 minutes after the hour here in the IMUS in the morning program.
You lick my McCord.
Wait a minute, I got to flush the Bernie.
You know, shut up.
Sit on your Bartlett.
Well,
eat my Rufino. What a bunch of juveniles. Good Lord.
Yes.
Idiots.
Really mature.
Now, Media Watch, a junkyard dog clamped on the throat of national media agents and agencies, handled by Chief Media Watch trainer Walter Cronkite. Return with me now to Wednesday, July 18th, 2001. A day like all days, packed with the putzes who perpetrate the pap that passes for prudent, enlightened edification. In short, the news. Actually, however, it was a day unlike the previous 77. The days at that point, since Washington intern Chandra, Does Anybody Have a Brush, Levy, had gone missing. Because it was the day when my nut log success
successor in the CBS Evening News anchor chair, Dan Rather, finally broke his long self-imposed silence on the case that had consumed every last man, woman, child, dog, parakeet, and goldfish in the nation, except him. Midway through July 18th CBS Evening News, suddenly the set fell quiet. Dan's eyes grew weird. You know the look, the gaze fixed on the camera. And this man who has so frequently inveighed against editorializing on the air, who declared on September 20th, 1997, my job is to keep my feelings out of every story, nevertheless said this.
There is news tonight worthy of national note in the case of missing person 24-year-old Chandra Levy. The young woman disappeared in Washington more than 11 weeks ago and became one of tens of thousands of missing persons across the country. CBS News correspondent Jim Stewart reports that now both the status and the nature of this widely publicized investigation have changed.
And therefore, if I may insert Dan's unspoken next thought, is now deemed worthy by me for telling to thee. We thank you, Correspondent Dan, for letting us know that the Chandra Levy story now has reached a stage where it earns your personal endorsement as news of national note. For 77 days, Dan had avoided even burping in such a way that the noise expressed might sound like Chandra or Condit. Then, on the eve of a Dan Rather guest appearance on the IMUS in the Morning radio program, an appearance that might go badly, all of a sudden, Chandra Levy, Gary Condit, made it to the CBS Evening News with Dan Rather newscast. Coincidence? Happenstance? Some weird parallelism at work? Or is it not more likely that, given past Dan Rather episodes, America's favorite anchor man pulled his head from the dark recesses of his own off-the-rails caboose, took a good hard look at himself in his new one-lobotomy-to-go haircut, and simply flipped out? Yes, in the estimation of this old racked-up, beaten-down, dog-eared, superannuated news hound, it's finally happened. Dan has completely lost his mind. In another recent interview, Don Imus asked the Washington Post media critic Howard Kurtz to suggest to him a question or two he might ask Correspondent Rather regarding the CBS Evening News Chandra Levy drought. Kurtz fired back, and I quote, "Ask him when he plans to get in touch with the rest of the world on this." Well, on Wednesday, July 18th, at long last, Correspondent Rather finally did get in touch with the rest of a planet on this. Venus. Houston, Apollo 13 here. We have an imbecile on board. Sad. For Media Watch, this is Walter Cronkite. Thank you, and good night, Dan, wherever you are.
13 after the hour here in the IMUS Morning program, and out from the Boston Globe and NBC Sports, Bud Collins. Good morning, Mr. Collins.
Well, good morning, Mr. Imus. I hope you had a good birthday. Anyway, I just happened to be listening to your program because NPR didn't come in too strongly. And the stymie thing, I'm not William Sapphire, but that goes back at least to the 19th century. And golf in Scotland. Stymied is when one ball lands on the green ahead of your ball, blocking your way to the hole, thus putting you in an untenable position. And you know now, because you're the Tiger Woods of WFAN, you know that you mark balls such as that. But in the old days, you were stymied.
Right. There you go. How about the buckwheat thing?
I don't know about Buckwheat. I remember him as a great character in our gang, I guess.
Yeah.
And I don't know why anybody would take that seriously, but there you go. But I just happened to be listening and thought you'd like to know about stymie.
Where are you this morning?
I'm surprised Lupica didn't come up with that. I'm in Boston, Massachusetts.
From one of the rare visits to
Well,
your
I know
excellent-
we're visiting Boston. It's a lovely town. And we check every once in a while to see that our house hasn't been burned down or anything like
Hey,
that.
did you hear that Robin Brown is leaving the Four Seasons?
Yes, but he's staying in Boston, thank goodness.
No, I understand that. They're going to build a new hotel.
Yeah,
And
yeah, he's one of the greats.
he managed to hoodwink a couple of zillionaires to build him a hotel.
Well, that's okay. We can use one in Boston, and he's a great Boniface.
Yeah, that too.
Yeah.
As long as he don't
get stymied and get
we get buckwheats on us. Thank you, Bud.
You're very welcome.
Bud Collins from the Boston Globe and NBC Sports here on the IMUS in the Morning program. It is 14 minutes after the hour. The Autobody Express having a big Gary Condit tie sale. 4 ties.
Yeah.
For $99.57.
And that's all you need.
That's all you need, baby. These are Joseph Abboud ties designed for the Autobody Express by Mr. Abboud, who is the sponsor of the indoor riding arena out here at the ranch to the tune of $250,000. Each tie normally sells for $49.57, 4 for $99.57. I like the ones Charles wears every morning, and the leather bomber jacket sale is still going on. And don't forget, you can order Imus Brothers coffee at the ABX, or you can pick it up at ShopRite and many other supermarkets throughout the country. So if you haven't tried, it's all we drink is Imus Brothers coffee, and it's delicious. So it's 1/4 after the hour. ABX sponsored by Mohegan Sun. Chuck will have some news coming up.
Why you talk shit? Why you got lip? Why you on my dick? I ain't on your dick and I ain't got lip. So why you talking shit? Don't make me put my beer down. Don't make me choke you out. Just let me make this clear now. I'ma break your freaking mouth. IMUS in the morning.
Geico Auto Insurance customers are...
Oh. Ha ha ha. 21 after the hour here on the IMUS Morning program. So I was talking to Mark Chernoff. He said, is there any way when you wear your oxygen, which I wear because I like it.
Yeah.
I'm now addicted to the oxygen.
You're into the oxygen.
Yeah. He said it makes noise on the air that's very annoying.
Yeah.
And I said, well, get over it.
Deal with it.
Kind of adds to the aura. It's a little Darth Vader-ish.
So I got a call from a letter from a guy by the name. Did we get the guy's name, Bernie?
No, we're efforting that right now.
It's I can't think of the guy's name, and I lost the letter. There's a guy from Easy Go golf cart people.
Yeah.
But they make industrial vehicles as well. And L.T. Waddell, I believe is his name. A lovely guy from Augusta, Georgia, or Atlanta, Georgia. Not even sure of that. It's an Easy Go golf cart company. But they make industrial vehicles to use on, like, ranches.
Mm-hmm.
So he said, now Club Car, people from Ingersoll Rand, they'd given us, we needed them for the